let's get this review going. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is pawxpi, but you can call me Paw, and I make book reviews. And today I'm gonna talk about a book that is very, very special to me. A book that just brought me back into the reading world now that I'm an adult. I had been struggling with reading like the past year and a half. One of my best friends suggested this book, and he's like, "You're gonna love it, give it a try." I wanted to read it with you like at the same time, just like read it together. Honestly, this book just brought me back to life. It genuinely brought me back to life. I don't know, as soon as I started it, I couldn't put it down. I read so fast. I left my friend behind. I started the second book right after it. Like, I consumed these two books. I think it's like over 1,000 pages in a span, like less of a week. I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I still can't stop thinking about it. My Kindle is covered in that book stickers. Let me see, let me show you. To give you an idea, there is Violet, there is Tyrion and Darna, and probably thinking about Xaden Riorson. So, if you don't know by now which book I'm talking about, this book doesn't need an introduction. This book is the book that shook the world. I think it's like 2022. It shook the world, and the world is still obsessed with it. And we just saw that the author announced that she just sent the last edit over to be printed of the third book. And I'm so excited just thinking about it. We're gonna have a new book. And this world has taken over my heart in every aspect. And I am so thankful for my best friend for showing me this book. I'm gonna be talking today about Fourth Wing. I'm so excited! I love Fourth Wing. I love everything about this book. I just love it. I just think about it. I think about Violet. I love Violet. I love Xaden. I love their friend group. I love the villains. It's so amazing, and I know it has a very strong fan base. I know that there's also a lot of people that are torn about this book, that don't see what others see, and they rather have something different. I love it. I love Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing will always be in my heart. Again, this is one of the books that whenever I have my home, I will buy the books, the physical books, to add to my library, have my trophies, have them in my collection. It's a book that I want to read again in like a couple years and somewhat forget what happened, and then just get back to it. Just read everything again, fall in love with the characters again. And it just created an expectation of how fantasy books are for me and how they're meant to make me feel. And I think that's starting strong with Fourth Wing. Being my first fantasy read, it generally, like, the other ones are like, have a big shoes to fit. And the other ones might be good, but it's just not as addicting as this one. I would go to sleep and I would dream about this book. Like, I genuinely dreamt about reading the book and like talking about the book. But you know, same structure. We're gonna start with the synopsis, then I'm gonna give my rating, then a no spoiler review, and then we go to the spoiler review. So let's just get right into it. If you already know what Fourth Wing is and you really want to just go into the reviews and the rating, I'm going to put a timestamp that will take you to the rating part right here, and just go there. It's fine. 20-year-old Violet Sorrengail was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now, the commanding general, also known as her tough-as-talons mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most will kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Riorson, the most powerful and ruthless wingleader in the Riders Quadrant. Okay, my rating. I guess you can already tell. it's a 5 out of 5. This book is everything to me. I'm probably thinking about Xaden Riorson at least once a day. I love the fandom. I love seeing like the actor casting that the fandom makes. I love seeing all the Rebecca interviews and her giving those little hints. I love how the writer, she's just ruthless and she's like, don't trust me, I will kill anyone in this book if I have to. I love the plot twists. I love it all. It's just one of those, if I have amnesia, just give me the Fourth Wing and Iron Flame books, the Empyrean series, and just give me a few days. And I'll be good to go. I will remember my life after that. I can assure you. Okay. Going into the actual no spoiler, as much as I could, no spoiler review. I want to start before I forget, because I didn't really write this down, is that even though this book is amazing and it's written really well, I still, in the Iron Flame, I'm still a little bit lost. Now that I've been through Iron Flame and I read a little bit more about Basquiat and how it is, I'm still lost. Like, where are the quadrants? Like, I have an idea, I see the map, I try to work with the map, but it's still a little bit confusing. For me, it's just one big, like, stone castle, like in, like, Hogwarts, but it's just darker, and I go from that. But I'm still a little bit lost when the characters are starting to be outside of, like, the actual school building. I am lost. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to expect. But there's just moments in the book and certain certain places that are so complex. And, like, I try to imagine it, but, like, it's just kind of outrageous. So I'm so thankful for the fan art, because I literally just look blah, 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 blah. And I'm just reading and looking at the picture and following and have a better understanding. I wish I could. Or maybe there will be some drawings in the book. Maybe eventually there are gonna be some editions that have some illustrations, because I get lost. It's a very big world and it is very complex. The school itself and the things they have to go and the places they have to go to, they're very complex. So it only makes sense. It's fine. I know they're gonna make a show soon, and I'm very, very excited. So one of the things I'm most excited about, besides seeing who they cast, is seeing how they recreate these places and, like, finally be able to have a visual idea of how the school is meant to look. And I know Rebecca wants to be like the books are their own world and the show is like a parallel world, but they are not merging, I guess. That's how I understood what she said. So, but I just need some visual aid in this saga. But yeah, I love the character Violet. I have a deep love for the name Violet. That's one of my favorite names, and my childhood dog that passed away, her name was Violet because of the Violet in American Horror Story Murder House. And since that show, that name just took my heart, and I gave it to my beloved little baby. And it was just kind of nice. Like, reading the book at the very beginning, before like I gave the character a face and an idea in my head, I was just like, oh, what if like my Violet just like reincarnated in this Violet? Like, what if she's doing all of this? Like, I try to give her like a little bit more like sentimentalism, like at the very first chapter. But yeah, I couldn't make Violet Sorrengail look like a schnauzer, a mini schnauzer in my head. I just have a connection to the name, and that made the book, I think, a little bit more special to me. Besides that, surprisingly, I felt very connected with the character. There's like past experiences and certain moments in my life that I could relate to her emotions in the book. I mean, of course, I was meant to be a historian and ended up being a dragon rider. I wish. I would relate to it more like, I just feel happy and I feel protected when I'm surrounded by knowledge. I take pride when it comes to teaching things to or passing down information to others, and I feel like I could connect to Violet when reading about how she was meant to take this one path, a path that she felt so safe. And then all of a sudden her life just changed abruptly, and now she's gonna be the exact opposite of who she is or who she thought she was. Going a little bit further into like Violet and the character, I think her character development is such a good character. It's so good. She, as I was saying before, she's just so empowering. She is constantly proving herself to others. Unfortunately, she kind of has to because of her mother. But she is always so strong and so stubborn and so set in her ways and doing what's right at the end of the day. And I do feel that she has the best of both worlds. She has an astonishing mind. Eventually, hopefully, her strength too will get very good, I guess. Now going to the spoiler part of the review. I want to begin with the fact that she was chosen by two dragons. Two amazing, incredible, majestic creatures chose her. Two, because they could see in her what nobody else could see. And I guess like I really wish the other characters could see what Taryn and Andarna saw in Violet, saw how much of a rare gem was, but they just chose to hate her because of who her mother is. But I guess, I mean, it goes into her character development, and I guess she had to get teased and bullied and almost murdered a few times to get to where she was. But I love Taryn. He's so strong. He's so wise. Like, generally, he's a 10 out of 10, but with a bad temper. And Andarna, my sweet Andarna, she, like, all I wanted to do is pet her. All I wanted to do is give her love. And I think I would have done the exact same. I would have protected the golden baby dragon from the evil of Jack Barlow. I would generally do the same thing. I would, like, I wouldn't think about it twice. I would protect the other creature, the vulnerable creature. Like, I would have done the exact same thing that she did. But would I have survived it? I don't think so. But it just shows so much about her character and how hard it is to break it and how hard it is to bend it. And I think that's also part of her being a kind of a historian and a very intelligent person. She's very set in her ways. She has very strong foundation of what's right and what's wrong. And her group of friends, Rhiannon, Riddoch, and Sawyer, I love them. I love them, and going through the books, even mentioning Iron Flame, like, they are such a good group of friends, and I think that they're like the comedic relief. Mostly Riddoch and Sawyer, they're just like the comedic relief. It gives the reader the sense of peace when Violet is with them, because she has the world completely against her pretty much, and she has this like 17 people that are just willing to kill her at any given point. But she got her gang, and they love her, and they're funny, they're witty, they are protective, they're silly, and they just give her that like normal-ish high school, college experience of you just hanging out with your friends and them just being the boys being boys, and Rhiannon being the queen that she's, because she's literally a queen. And I love that. I love how at the very beginning, like, Rhea just sneaks out to see this other girl, and then Violet sneaks out too, and then they just, even though it's not the same sneaking out situation, but they still like kind of giggle about it. I love how Violet, since the very beginning as well, just like helped Rhea, and Rhea could see how much of a gem. She didn't take advantage of Violet. She could have just pushed her. She could have taken the other boot. She could have done anything, but she still chose to go through with it, and at the end of the day just say like, hey, thank you, you know, no one would have ever done this for me. And she just decided to be friends instead of taking advantage of her, which other characters would have. You know who I don't love? Dane. What the Dane. He is little man complex. His ass. It's just stupid. It's just Dane. Like, at the very beginning, you can kind of love him. You can kind of see like where he's coming from, and that he's trying to care for her and all that. But then, I mean, he is just making her weaker. That's all he's doing. And I don't appreciate that. She doesn't appreciate that. I love how she stands up for herself and be like, you just think I can't do it. At least believe I can. Like, I went through this, I went through that, I have 2 dragons. Like, bro, what else do I need to prove? I survived. Why do you still want to sneak me out? Like, just leave me alone. But now that I know more, I finished the book, I've read Iron Flame. Ay, Dane, why would you do that? All I see is like, I just want to go back to all the times he touched Violet's face. All the times he, this sneaky little rat, just tried to get her memories away from her and just ruined it all for the cool people. The rebellion. You know, like, Dane. I just try to like put the pieces together. Like, every single time he was trying to care for her, he was just like sneaking a little thumb on her cheek, just sneaking a little when he kissed her. I hate Dane. I hate him. Like, going into a better topic, Taryn and Andarna. I love how protective Taryn is. And I mean, it makes sense. I know their dragons are protective of their humans, but Taryn has this like fatherly figure, like feeling to Violet. He's so wise, but at the same time, he allows her to be herself. He allows her to feel her emotions and wallow and be afraid. Like, he cuts her a lot of slack. Even though he's trying to make her stronger and he's making her train her like as much as possible, and he lets her be as vulnerable as she can be, but nobody else can see. He'll put a wing around, let her puke, let her cry, let her scream, let her take a deep breath, whatever she needs. Taryn is there. He's the protector, and I genuinely love him. I love that dragon. I love it. I love that for her, because I mean, her father is gone. And I think the closest she has to a father right now is just Taryn. I guess. I see it like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but he's lovely. I wish we all had a Taryn in our lives, like that voice of consciousness. And that deep, like, voice in our head that could be like, you can do it, push yourself, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I love Taryn. I love him. And when it comes to Andarna, she's a sweetheart. She's amazing. All I want is to give her a hug and see her run and play and be herself and, you know, be a little puppy, because she's just a little puppy. And I love that. I love that, and I love how enthusiastic she is. I love how she's always trying to be with them and join them. But I love, like, they make the little contraption to get Andarna to hook from Taryn so they could fly together, just in case she gets tired. Just in case she can't keep up. I love that, because she's such a little baby. So I just picture her like hanging out, you know, just being a little baby, and like her baby Bjorn, like saddle backpack thing. That's how I picture it. Just like carrying her like a baby Bjorn. I don't know. I could be super wrong, but that's how I picture it. And I love it. It's so accurate. In my brain, like, that just makes sense. My beloved Xaden, dear Lord, what a character. He is absolutely amazing. He's compassionate, he's caring, he's such a good leader, he's hot. He would go above and beyond for the people that he cares about. And the more you read about this guy, he's just like, he is everything. He's everything. He's the reason why so many things are going on. He's the reason why things are gonna get better. He's the reason why so many people are still alive and going. He is so strong, so young still, but he is absolutely everything. I love how, unlike Dane, he wants Violet to be stronger, to be better, to push her, regardless of his connection because of the dragons. I just love that he just wants what's best for her, and eventually. And that he just fell for her since the very beginning. And that's beautiful. Like, I love that. Like, I love how he knew, like, she's gonna be the death of me type of situation. And I love it. It was hilarious when they realized that they had to be together. Now that the dragons are bonded and they chose Violet as well. And I love how snappy he is with Taryn as well. I love how they all can connect and talk like in like mental pathways. And the funny thing when like the dragons are doing their thing and they can feel it too, and then she's like about to lose her mind, but he keeps his composure and he teaches how to block them out. And That whole little like rendezvous thing they had in the middle of the night because the dragons were doing it, I think that was really fun. I loved reading about it. It was like the first like very vulnerable moments they had together, and they deserve it. Like I wish something would have happened there, but I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad more tension was built before anything really happened with them. But when it did, I feel like they were amazing. Like the spy scenes were incredible. Sometimes I was having a hard time picturing it because like shadows and thunders and lightning and bookcases, bookshelves, wardrobes being destroyed, and I mean it's the first time I read something like that and I was like completely taken by it. I think it was amazing. I genuinely loved every part of it. I loved how they were all still like very conflicting feelings when it came to it. I love how slowly they just had it all a secret, and she would tease him like in their mind, and I don't know. I love there was a lot of conflicting emotions when they were together, but eventually they just kind of find peace in each other's arms, and I think that makes sense, and I think that they deserve a happy ending, and I want them to have a happy ending. I know in this book they have a little bit of a fallout when she realizes he was like working with the Gryphons. I don't know how to say it, but it was all for the greater good. You would think like he's morally gray, but he is so right at the same time. He's like in the right path. He's like morally gray if you see it as morally gray, but at the same time, he's just doing what's right for his people. So I think I know his darkness, but he's so bright. He's so bright. He's so strong. He is amazing. And I don't think I've ever read a character such willing to sacrifice so much for his people, and how he still, like, he could have been like a Jack Barlow. He could have been worse. He could have been just evil, but no, he's just sticking his neck out to give his people another chance. And that is what like a real leader does. And I love that from him. The life we lost in this book, Liam, I can't get over it. I cried. I finished the book. I was in Iron Flame and I was still crying over Liam. Like I cannot get over Liam. That destroyed me, him laying in Violet's arms and saying it was my honor. It gives me goosebumps. We were finished there again. We were finished. Just what happened in the Hunger Games, the Mockingjay, when they took Finnick away from us. This is the same thing, and they did it with Liam, and it was my honor. I can't believe Liam's gone. I still can't process it. He was such a light. He was such a light in Violet's life. He was such a light in everybody surrounding Violet as well. He was just like the lighthouse in this sea of chaos, and he was taken away from us. And I still can't believe it. And I fucking hate Dane for it. It's Dane's fault. In my head, it's all Dane's fault. I know he's brainwashed because of his dad, and he's just a kiss ass, and he's just a teacher's pet, but still, it's all Dane's fault. Finalizing like the whole battle, the battle was crazy, seeing the like Wyvern and the Venom, and this new added character, because first like the villains are her classmates, but now the villains are actual creatures that are evil and they suck life from the earth. They are genuinely evil creatures, and I love that aspect to it. I love that they weren't in it since the very beginning. I love that we kind of got over like somewhat of the school part, and then that like on the outside it was a very clear division of what was outside of the school. And I love those type of creatures. They're evil, they're crazy, but like there's so many conspiracies about them, and I like the idea of a Venom. It's really giving, I don't know if you guys read Home for Peculiar Children with Spare and Grinch. It's giving like the creatures, I don't remember their name anymore, but like the Slendermanish creatures, that they suck so much power and they want to take the power of the birds, of the caretakers, to be able to open loops, and they just become this evil creature that all they want is to eat the peculiar children, and they want to suck and eat that power. That is what the Venom are giving. Those are the vibes I'm getting, and I love it. Power crazy, somewhat mindless type of creatures. I feel like they do have a mind, and I feel like it's a whole community and that there's more to it, but in Fourth Wing, like that's the vibe they were giving to me. So I love it. Ending was absolutely insane. I can't believe he's alive. I can't believe it. I screamed, I cried, and I just had to grab Iron Flame right away. I had to talk to my best friend. I'm sorry, and I know that you're not done with Fourth Wing yet. I know I devoured this book like there was no tomorrow, but I need to get into this because I can't live on this cliffhanger, but I regret it because now I'm left with a cliffhanger in Iron Flame, and that one I think it's probably worse than Fourth Wing's cliffhanger. But yeah, I added like a little extra section to my review after I read Xaden's extra POV that's on Rebecca's website, and I think it was incredible. I just love having a little like midnight sun vibe, like having a snippet of how he thinks and about how he sees Violet. And I love that it was just more chapters, like his point of view, but from different other chapters in the past, and seeing his conversations with his dragon and how this really went about in his head, because I know he looks so tough, but there's so much inner turmoil, and it also in his connection with his dragon when Violet came into their world. But I genuinely loved it. I love how he sees Violet. I love how he's protective. He's even more protective in his mind, which, I mean, it makes sense. But I love seeing it, and it was a very nice way to finish a story. I read the chapters after I was done with Iron Flame. I kind of waited a little bit because I was having withdrawals and I missed them so much, and I just didn't want to let that go. So I gave the chapters some like a month, I think. And then I went to them, and it was just really nice to get back and to read a little bit more about the Shadow Man. My final thoughts is that this book is absolutely amazing. I am willing to read 25 books about this, 50 books about this. I will be 80 and I'll be reading these books. I love the universe. I love Violet. I love that Rebecca is very outspoken and has so many interviews, and the community is very strong, and that YouTube is filled with videos and conspiracies about this, and I consume them. I eat them all up. Every time I'm having withdrawals, I put my Basquiat Fourth Wing ambience playlist that I found on YouTube. I will watch these videos about conspiracies, and I just get transported back. The author, I think she's a 10 out of 10. I love how just open she is, and how like cool. She's chatty, she's like one of us. I don't know, I have, I guess, an idea of how authors are, but she's just so playful, and she's so like young, and I love that about her, and it's amazing. I love it. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you all for watching this review. Please make sure to check out my pawxpi Plays website. That is going to be linked down below. Make sure to keep the conversation going, and if you have any other book recommendations, or you want to, get me to read anything else, please let me know, because I'm so down. Thank you for coming over, and I see you the next time. Bye.